Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. I welcome you all to this Bhagavad Gita session online. We have been doing these sessions at the Hindu temple of Allentown, and now we have gone online from Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. We are into the 6th chapter, and we have seen some 13 shlokas. And the 13th shloka, which we saw, and also the couple of shlokas before, they were all talking regarding dhyanam, meditation, and specifically they were talking regarding the niyama, rules of meditation. What can make your meditation session very effective, very meditative. What was told was regarding the asana, the seat, the physical seat where you sit, on which you sit. Then we saw regarding your own posture. Seat was what? Chaila, Ajina, Kushottaraha. 3 layers of the sheet for the seat. Okay. And then we also saw the next thing was Sama Kaya Shiro Griva. Regarding your own posture, how steady, how straight you should be sitting, your trunk, body. Trunk is the main part of the body. Head, trunk, head, and the neck in one straight line. We saw regarding the posture. Then we saw regarding the prana, breathing. Actually, we saw regarding where you position your eye. You just look straight, as though you're not, you're drawing 2 straight lines from your eyes and they're parallel from your eyeball. So likewise, you look straight. So all this different niyamas we saw. Now, in this 14th shloka, we are, let me see, just going to see Kincha Anya Vishayam for Yoga Anushtayi. What are the other Vishaya, other requirements, other helpful means when it comes to your mind, for the sadhaka, for you. Sadhaka is the practitioner or the spiritual seeker, that is you. So let's see this sloka. Prashantatma vigatabhihi Prashantatma vigatabhihi Brahmachari vrate stitah Brahmachari vrate stitah Manas sanyamya machittah Manas sanyamya machittah Yukta asita matparah Yukta asita matparah. This is a shloka, number 14 in the 6th chapter. And we are just going to rearrange some words. Prashantatma, the first word, Prashantatma. We'll see that as the 3rd requirement. Let us say Brahmachari vrate stitah. Depending on what is important, we can rearrange the words. Let us first put the second phrase of the first line of this shloka, which is Brahmachari Vrate Stitaha. Stitaha, following, being. Following means anushtanam, doing the anushtana. What? Of Brahmachari Vrata. Brahmachari word by now should be familiar for you. Brahmachari is charati iti chari. One who follows. One who follows what? Whatever is before the word chari. What is there before the word chari? Before the word chari, there is Brahma. So Brahma word is there. Here, Brahma means Veda. What do you mean by following the Vedas? Following the Veda. Brahmachari Vrata. Vrate stitah. So following those Vratas in the Vedas. You should be very curious. What are all the Vratas? What are all the practices told in the Vedas? Very simple. You're all doing it. You're all leading a Vedic lifestyle in your own possible way. So the Vedic lifestyle is Brahmachari Vrata. Taking a shower in the morning, that is a part of Brahmachari Vrata. Exactly to say, taking at least 3 showers. I would say taking at least 2 showers, morning and evening. Then the next one is regarding the main reason for this Brahmachari Vrata is, the main most relevant point is Gurukula Vasa, staying or following the teacher, Guru. Following is more relevant. Following the teacher, Gurukula Vasa, Susrusha, and serving. Serving in whatever capacity you can. Bhikshatana, and also seeking alms. Since you are taking up to the lifestyle of the Vrata of Brahma, of Veda, since you are taken up to a Vedic lifestyle, and especially since this person is focused on the studies, he keeps his food very simple. If required, he just eats whatever comes, and he comes back to his Brahmachari Vrata of studying, serving teacher, and learning. If you can take up to this, then Vigata Bhihi, you see the next word, or the word before, Vigata Bhihi. Bhihi is fear. In Rudra, it comes Mabher, Ma Romo Yesham, Kinchana Jagate, right? Mabhihi. Don't fear when Bhagavan is with you. Here, the word Vigata Bhihi is being fearless. Vigata, gone. What is gone? Bhihi is gone. One whose fear is gone. Because you are taken to a very special area, which is meditation. So you can drop other things as and how it is required without any fear of any dosha, of any defect, of any demerit affecting you. You can really drop certain things without any fear. In fact, this chapter is after the Karma Yoga, Sarva Karma Parityaga. All those running around, you can fearlessly pause when you have taken up to meditation. And then what is the next word? So then also the fearlessness also means no samshaya, no doubt. Doubt causes fear sometimes, right? So being fearless, being free from doubts, taking up to something and sticking to it. for the sake of meditation, and not trying to look if whatever I have chosen as meditation, how effective is this? Are there any shortcuts? So this is all the samshaya, doubts. So just be free of those doubts. That is vigata bihi. And then what? Prashanta Atma, the main word here. The first word is what? Prashanta Atma. Prakarshena Shantaha Atma. Is Atma of this person. Atma is what? I've told several times. The word Atma can mean yourself, your mind, or your senses, or your body, or whatever the scripture describes you as. So these all can be the word Atma. Here, the word Atma is Antakarana, your mental faculty, your mind. What about the mind? Mind is Shanta Atma, Prashanta Atma. The mind is at peace. Prashanta Atma. The mind is not just relatively at peace. Mind is absolutely at peace. A peace which is not dependent on anything. A peace because of resolution because of your nice management of all your extreme sense of pleasure and sorrow, extreme sense of likes and dislikes and all that. So Prashanta, Prakarshena, very well obtained peace. The very well obtained peace, a peace which deserves of being of the highest grade. Why? Because even the causes for your ragadvesha, you have found out, you have inquired those causes, and you have accomplished the clarity regarding what is causing what is my problem with my values and all that you have analyzed, and then you are now at peace because those values, wrong values, only gives rise to a strong sense of likes and dislikes. So that is the Prashanta Atma. So you're free of all your vasanas. Vasana is what? With your fear of all the pressures you have, because of which mechanically we are seeking some things which may not really add value to our well-being. And you have analyzed all that, and then that vasana, that pressure is gone. All right? So that is that Prashanta Atma. Remember, if I ask you what is the opposite of Prashanta Atma, you can say Ashanta Atma. You know the negative participle a. When you add a to dharma, it becomes adharma, opposite of dharma. When you add a to shanta, it becomes ashanta, opposite of peace. So you are at peace. You are not ashanta atma, you are what? Prashanta atma. So you are free from the problem of uncontrollable imploring desires because you are taken up to brahmachari vrata, some disciplines. Your fear is gone, your vigata bihi, and your pressures of your likes and dislikes are also resolved. You're a relatively cheerful person, absolutely peaceful person. At the same time, your cheerfulness is inside forever, but outside as and when it's required, or it is required. So after all this, you are now you are called a yuktaha. You are called a yuktaha. The word yuktaha you see in the shloka. Yuktaha is in the second line. Yukta asita matparaha. You are a composed person. The vishaya, the situations, people won't afflict you, won't afflict your relative sense of calm, peace. You're yuktaha. All right. So you have managed your mind very well. That is what is called manas sanyamya. Sanyama. So in Hindi they say the word sanyam karo. Sanyam karo means in Hindi they use it as a negative word, like control yourself for that. But here sanyama is sanyama what? Manaha. You have managed your mind. Okay, so you have made your mind free from all those pulling and pushing desires based on the objects outside. That is you. So if you have taken away your mind and if you have it in your mastery, then what do you apply the mind for? Where do you take the mind and where do you apply it? This meditation is not meditation on nothingness. It is not about nothingness. When you withdraw your mind, we also show you where you can apply your mind. Right? Suppose if a cow, if a bull is so rough and tough, and then you tie, bull is like their mind, you tie it to a post or a tree, still it is restless. And when does it become restful? It is the restless bull will become restful when you throw something for eating. Then it slowly starts munching and it is enjoying the food and it is forgetting itself, forgetting the fact it is tied to a pillar, forgetting the fact that the rope is binding, and it decides, why should I go around? I'm getting what I need here and now. Let me relax, right? So it is all because you throw some food as a pile of grass or something. So likewise, you have to give your mind something. What are you giving now? Mat chittaha. The chittaha, you give yourself. Mat. But here, mat is give Parameshwara. Give Ishvara to that mind. May your mind given to me. That's what Bhagavan says, given to me. Me is who? Bhagavan, Parameshwara. How do you give your mind to Parameshwara? So, because we have to be consistent. Machittaha, then Atmanam Yunjita, everything, all the Atmanam word will come. Give yourself to yourself and all that. So we have to connect all this. So let us make it more relevant to you. See, Puja Swamiji used to say in his meditation sessions, suppose if you see a pot, then we can say pot consciousness. If you see a clock consciousness, right? So the clock is shown by not your mind. The clock is not shown by your mind. The mind takes the shape of the clock and then that is shown, that is lighted up, because of which the mind comes up with the sentence, I know pot. So, when the pot is removed, when the clock is removed, pot consciousness is removed. Pot is removed. Consciousness is. Consciousness is. It is. Right? So that consciousness has to be there. It cannot disappear along with the pot. Because the consciousness is, that is why you're able to bring a clock and in no time you're able to say, I see a clock. Clock consciousness is. Remove the clock. bring a piece of book. Book consciousness is. Consciousness is. Objects come and go. Consciousness is. So that is Parameshwara. That is the glory of Parameshwara. He is ever present as your Antaratma, your inner self, shining everything. Now, did I make it easy for you to be Mat Chittah? Mat Chittah. Parameshware Chittah Yasmin. Your Chitta, can it be always see that consciousness which is yourself and which is yourself and also which is Parameshwara, your inner, your Antaryami Bhagavan Ishvara Narayana. So that is Matchittah, right? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya is saying Parameshware Chittah, that Parameshwara you see him as this Bhagavan who is inside as a consciousness and who is shining everything, who is not separate from you. Okay? So then you will be able to consistently meditate upon that Ishvara forever. That is the goal of meditation. Then Matparaha. Matparaha word means the Parameshwara is the Shrestha. Mate is Mattaha Paramam Nasti. I am just making it up, but what is our Mahatma or Shankaracharya Maharaj is saying, Matparaha Aham Paraha Yasya Saha Ayam Matparaha. See, again, Aham word is come here. Aham is Bhagavan Ishvara Narayana. So, but then that Narayana is your own self, inner self, consciousness. So that Bhagavan, Matpara, there is nobody, there is nothing greater than this. Suppose if you meditate on this consciousness and if you think, am I meditating on the best thing to meditate, or should I look for something else? Should I worship? Should I bring Shiva? Should I bring Krishna? Should I bring Rama? Or should I bring Sita Rama? Like that, you don't have to worry about what is the most superior, because this meditation, this is the most superior, Matparaha, Sreshtaha. So that when you have this kind of an attitude, when you have this kind of an approach, your meditation is very effective, consistent, and very qualitatively superior. All right? Because sometimes, giving an example, why would there be two words? One is Matchittaha and then also Matparaha. Why two words? Because both kind of, Matte, both is starting with Matchittaha, Matparaha. And Matchittaha is, these both are very similar words. But here, Shankaracharya Maharaj is saying, someone may be reveling in some object, thought of some object. Say, he's giving an example, Stri, for the men, for example. You may be reveling in thought of Stri, women, for example. So Chittaha is Stri, Mat Chittaha is what? Stri Chittaha. But the mind may not be Mat Paraha, is Paratvam, who he respects the most, might be a king or a deity in the temple. So that is Mat Paraha. So here, your consciousness, yourself, which is the indweller, Bhagavan as Antaryami, as Pratyagatma, as Paramatma, your mind is also with the Paramatma, and also you are also considering that to be the highest. Asita. So you have to meditate. Anushtan Karen. So this is how you continue to develop all the other sadhanas, all the other means for your meditation. What is a phala? When you are meditating this way, what is the phala? Ata idanim yoga phalam uchyate. The phala is being talked about. Result, the fruit. Phal is fruit. What is the fruit of all this meditation? That is told in this shloka. Next one. What is the next one? Yunjan yevam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasah. You can repeat that at your own, in your own room. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasah shantim nirvana paramam shantim nirvana paramam matsamsthamadhi gacchati. So this is regarding the phala. Adhigacchati, he obtains, he gains. A person gains. Who is that person? Yogi. He is a yogi, he gains. And what does he gain? Before that, let me just translate the previous shloka. I'll read the translation, Puja Swamiji's translation for the 14th shloka. Being the one whose mind is tranquil, who is free from fear, established in one's commitment to the life of a brahmachari, may that meditator sit thinking of me, having me as the ultimate goal while withdrawing the mind from everything else. All right. So coming back to 15th shloka. Niyata manasah. So this person is yogi. He is adhigacchati. Last word in the shloka, adhigacchati. He obtains, he reaches, he well obtains. He very positively gains. Niyata is a niyata manasah. So he has to continue to be a niyata manasah. This mind word comes again and again. Manasah. Our mind is something we have to really work on, and everything else can be taken care of. If you are holding, in the car, when you're driving, your steering is closest to you. You control the steering. You manage the steering. The wheels will get you where you want. The car will get you where you want. The wheel is not closest to you. Even the car is not closest to you. What is closest to you is your steering. You can work on the steering, but that is enough. Likewise, you work on the mind, and whatever is in front of the mind, people, situations, senses, objects, everything will fall in place. That is a magic, miracle. So let's see. You have to be niyata manasah. Niyatam sanyatam manasam manaha yasya. Sanyata manasah. So what is niyata manasah? Yeah, your mind should be again composed. Sanyata is again composed. But here, you have to really make the mind available, and you should be able to apply and withdraw. Apply and withdraw. Suppose if you're a student of medicine, there are different textbooks, all huge, very voluminous, not easy. So when you open one book, you study for some time, and then you withdraw, bring your mind back, and you need a rest. Your mind also, you should treat it very fairly. It needs a change. So what do? You bring it back and then apply it on something else, some other book. Right? Another textbook. So likewise, you just have the mind available for applying and withdrawing. That is the niyata manasa. This is a asadharana karanam. Having composure in the mind is a very critical reason for the mind to be available for meditation. And this niyata manasa is a yogi. He's a dhyayi. He's a meditator. Okay, the yogi word is also there. Yogi niyata manasaha, he adhigacchati, he obtains. We'll see what he obtains. But before that, so evam, what does it do to obtain is what has been told already. Prashantatma, Vigatabihi, Brahmachari Vrate, Brahmachari Vrate Stitaha, all that we have seen. So evam, thus, like what it has been told before, with all the asana, all the niyamas, like for asana, for the where you look when you're meditating, how you keep your body straight, all those things. Evam atmanam yunjan. Likewise, with this kind of practice, if you're able to yunjan yourself, atmanam is yourself. If you're able to yourself or your mind, if you're able to yunjan, what do you mean by if you're able to yunjan? If you're able to give your mind for meditation. If you're able to give your mind for meditation, give yourself here, give your mind for meditation in this way. Yunjan means samadhanam. If you're able to peacefully sit physically, mentally for meditation, samadhanam is what? Samadhana is samadhi. Samadhi is nothing but samyak adhinam. You are taking up to that thought process, which is the right thought process, which is proper. What is proper? What is given in the scriptures is proper. What is told regarding meditation in the previous shlokas, those are the proper ways. So in meditation also, if you want to give a proper diagnosis, or proper remedy, what is proper? You go back and look at all the different cases. You go back to the basics and then you find out. That is proper. So when you are yunjan, when you have this kind of a giving yourself to meditation, then you would, and this is what sada, the word sada is there, right? Sada atmanam yunjan. Have yourself always given to meditation. How can you give yourself always to meditation? Meaning, when you sit for a length of time, dirghakal. Not 24 hours, at least, say 42 minutes, or 24 minutes, or 14 minutes. Whatever time you give it 100%. That is called Adar Purvak. Give your heart during that time. Make it qualitatively very superior, very qualitative. So that is what it means by sada. And then what he obtains, adhigacchati shantim. He should be a prashantatma, relatively peaceful person. Then he will get peace. What is that? I'm already peaceful. No. Here, this shanti is niratishaya shanti. It is a shanti which is not comparable for any shanti which we get because of vishaya, because of any situation, because of any peace, because of any situation. There's a peace process going on in the Middle East now. So that shanti is so dependent on so many factors. The situation can flare up anytime again, right? So that is not the peace here. Here, niratishaya shanti, a permanent shanti, permanent ceasefire. Is it possible? Hope so, right? So this shanti is uparati, niratishaya shanti. And this shanti is also qualified by other adjectives here. Shantim, nirvana paramam shantim. Nirvana paramam shantim. Shanti is a strilinga. It's a feminine name, shanti. So you are writing it as, that is why nirvana paramam is also the paramam. Instead of saying nirvana paramam, it is nirvana paramam for matching the gender. So that way, this nirvana paramam is an adjective for shantim. Nirvana paramam is moksha. So you combine these two words. Nirvana paramam shantim means moksha shantim, the peace of jivan muktihi, the peace of one who is free from afflictions here and now without having to die. That is nirvanam, nirvana paramam. Nirvrittihi brahmani. You are well established. You are not given away, right? So that kind of you're lighted up with peace forever. So that is the nirvana paramam. And this is also qualified mat samsthanam, mayim, samyak sthitam. So madhinam shanti. This is also totally based on your understanding about yourself or about Parameshvara, about Paramatma. How do you understand Paramatma? Don't scratch your head. Just now we saw regarding consciousness and how objects come and go. Consciousness is there. The mind only takes up the shape of the objects, but something has to light that object. And so the mind can say, I see, this is a pot, this is things of that. Consciousness. That is how you understand. Mat samsthanam. That means that kind of an understanding based on Ishvara, Parameshvara, Paramatma, Narayana, Antaryami, Pratyagatma. So, Sada Shanti Madhigacchati. Okay. So, what is the fruit? Shanti Madhigacchati. What Shanti? Nirvana Paramam Shanti Madhigacchati. Ihaiva. All Gita, entire Gita is regarding that Shanti here and now, as and when you're performing action, as and when you're meditating, as and when you're relating. Right? So that Gita's Shanti Moksha is Moksha here and now. Moksha when you're alive. A moksha for which you don't have to, anyone does not have to die. All right? So this is the speciality of Gita. Now, having said that, let me quickly translate. Then we have two interesting slokas regarding food. I will go to that. Always connecting the mind in this manner, the meditator, the one whose mind is mastered, gains the peace which is centered on me, which is in the form of an absorption in me, which is the ultimate liberation. So this is a translation by Puja Swamiji Maharaj, Swami Dayananda Saraswati Maharaj. I'm just saying the name for those who are wondering who I refer to when I say Puja Swamiji. Some of them may not know. That is why. Otherwise, you don't take the name of your guru unless it is required like this. Just like you don't take the name of your parents, right? All right. So here the next sloka. Next sloka is Idanim Yogina Aharadi Niyama Uchyate. What is Aharadi Niyama? The niyama for food. Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikantamanashnatah nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna Hey Arjuna. All right. Hey Arjuna. Bhagavan is also calling Arjuna. Sambodhana, vocative. Hey Arjuna. This time for this sloka on food. So this is just a starting. We are talking about food. We're going to talk regarding sleep. We're going to talk regarding how you do your karma. What is the key which can help how to perform all this so your meditation is most effective. Hey Arjuna, yoga hai. This yoga you see, yoga hai. Natyashnatastu yoga hai. The yoga hai word. Bhagavan is saying, what is yoga hai when it comes to food? What is yoga when it comes to food? What is yoga when it comes to body? You know, samasana, sitting properly, proper posture, breathing. This is the yoga when it comes to body. When it comes to food, what is yoga hai? Natu ati ashnatah. Bhagavan is telling what yoga is not when it comes to food. What is not yoga when it comes to food? Natu ati ashnatah. Overeating is not yoga. Overeating is never yoga. It doesn't help your yoga. It doesn't help your meditation. So we'll see what it means by proper eating. We'll see, right? So, and Atma as Atma Sammitam Annam. Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya Maharaj is very considerate. He's saying Atma Sammitam Annam. Individual, the food which is based on an individual's capacity. The measure should be based on your capacity, your capacity to be not feeling uneasy after eating, not feeling a little short of breath after eating up to this. No, that is not right. Eating up to this is also not right. We'll see all that. And there's a shloka which Bhagavan Bhashyakara is quoting, Yeduhava Atma Sammitam Annam Tadavati Tanna Hinasti Tad Avati. Avati is what protects, what really does raksha, what really helps in your meditation, in your yoga, in conducting yourself, in even being cheerful. If your eating is not proper, you lose your peace, you lose your mental peace. So eating should be in such a way that it is helping you. And so here, overeating is a shatru. Not eating is also a shatru. Shatru means what? Is an enemy. It doesn't help you. It doesn't save you. Not eating also doesn't save you. And then eating less, then the quantity is also not going to save you, unless there is a vrata or something. Eating, always trying to not eat for a few days because you feel guilty. They say guilt-free food and guilt-filled food. There's no guilt-filled food. Guilty food and guilt-free food. So if suppose somebody eats something, overeating and then not eating, this is all not accepted. So in Bhagavad Gita and also in some other smritis, it is told in Manusmriti, I think, you eat half the stomach. Half the stomach, and then quarter stomach you keep for some fluids, water and all that. This half the stomach when you eat, how do you know it is half the stomach? We don't know how it is half stomach. But what you should do is, it includes both annam, means rice or grain, and also the vegetables. Altogether half. Not that rice half stomach or wheat, roti half stomach, and then on the top of it, dal and vegetable. No. Everything together half. Then water half, water 1/4 in the remaining half, and then other quarter you leave it because there's some churning of the food with the acid in the stomach. Everything happens. The acid, very powerful acid, and but it has got effect only on a certain quantity. If you increase the quantity, that is called agni, we say. The agni becomes mandagni. It cannot cook the whole thing inside. So that is why you have to help your agni by eating only cooked food. You cannot, raw food cannot constitute the entire meal, according to Ayurveda. So this is how you kind of moderate. We'll see about the moderation in the next sloka. And some of the people have this kind of a niyama rule. I will eat only 8 servings, not 8 servings, 8 size, this size, 8 servings of this size. Some people, have 16, 32, depending on. But you should stick to that number, however good the food or however, special the food is. All right. So then, nacha ekantam anashnatah. Ekantam, already in Tamil they say. बिल्कुल नहीं खाना भी गलत है. That is also not yoga. What is not yoga? Na ekantam anashnatah. Not eating, completely giving up eating is also not yoga hai. Then also, what else is not yoga? Nacha ati swapnashilasya. The one who is given to sleeping all the time, more than what is required. People have the capacity. They work, sometimes they do night duty. And on the weekends, they sleep for 20 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours. Some people do that. So that is not conducive for yoga. Nacha jagratah eva asti. Then somebody who is always awake, trying to be awake. Even before examination, they say you should not be awake the previous whole night. People do that sometimes. And they get some good grades because they remember what they studied by keeping themselves awake. And they think that is essential. No, this is all going to affect on the long run. So, jagratah, not sleeping, is also not good for yoga. So, this shloka is regarding what is not good for yoga, for your well being. Here, yoga is your well being. So, what is not yoga when it comes to food, we saw. What is not yoga when it comes to sleep, rest, that also we saw. So, meditation is not for one who eats too much or for one who does not eat at all. Nor indeed, Arjuna, it is for the one who sleeps too much or who is always awake. All right. So this is the translation, Puji Swamiji's translation for the shloka. So next shloka is also regarding the same topic of food and sleep. So it's very interesting. Then the question is, we had to always, Bhagavan also always has to say something positive. When you say negatively that don't do this, don't do that, and all that, you also have to provide positively what can be done, what can be taken up. What is yoga when it comes to food? What is yoga when it comes to sleep? What is yoga when it comes to doing anything? That is the next shloka. Yukta hara viharasya, very popular shloka. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha, yogo bhavati dukkha. Look at this. What is not yoga we saw. What is the yoga which is dukkha? We're going to see. That's the last word in the shloka, right? Dukkha. Ha, the one which removes all the dukkha. What is that yoga when it comes to food which can remove all the dukkha, all the uneasiness, all the defects? So what are all the defects? It can be adi, it can be defects, all the dukkha. Ha is what? It can remove. Dukkha da is one which gives dukkha, but dukkha ha is it removes all the dukkha. This yoga, when it comes to food and everything, if you can follow this, what is told in this shloka, it becomes dukkha ha. You'll see why it is, dukkha ha. So dukkha is a dukkha with respect to yourself, your body, and dukkha with respect to the situations and surroundings, and dukkha, even the defects, even the sorrow, even with respect to the elements, in terms of heat and cold and whatnot, the weather and all that. Adi, Daivam, Adi Bhautikam, and Adhyatmikam. Three types of dukkha. Sarva samsara dukkha kshaya krita yoga bhavati. It is this, if you follow what is going to be told in this sloka, it will be the end of your afflictions, all the sufferings while you are in samsara, while you're performing, conducting yourself, while you're relating in samsara. So what is that? Yuktaha. The answer is yuktaha. Yuktahara viharasya. If you are yuktaha, if you are moderate, here yuktaha, what is moderate? In what? In ahara and vihara. Yuktahara viharasya. Ahara is food. Ahara is ahriyate. Ahriyate iti aharam. The food for your senses, especially for your tummy. And vihara is all what is that? Vihara is all the walking and conducting yourself, all the activities. All right. So it should be niyata is parimanam. There should be a measure. There should be moderate. Moderate means what? It should be measured. Ahara should be measured. You should be consciously, alertly eating, and you should know to say stop, when to say stop. Right? So there was one Mahatma, and see, this is what I want to try to say. What is the highlight here? It is not regarding what type of food. It is regarding what type of food in a way, but here, what is very critical, assuming that we all try to eat healthy, assuming that we are all trying to eat healthy, then what comes into the picture is how much, how moderate you are. That is the key for meditation. And so food has to be healthy, no doubt, and food has to be clean, prepared very clean also. So it has to be clean with respect to the person who is preparing should be clean. The place should be clean. The ingredients should be clean, right? It's very hard to match all these three in a hotel. When you cook when you cook at home, this is possible. This one vaccine company, they had to thrash 15,000 doses of their vaccine. You know why? Because the rule was the people who are supposed to be working, the employees who are making those vaccines, should take a shower and then start the work when they come into the. So they logged in as if they are taking the shower, but then on inspection, it was found many of them were not. So that they went with all their aprons, but without taking a shower and trying to do the vaccine, that is considered as a violation and as something which can cause contamination potentially. And all those vaccines, 15,000 doses were thrown. Because of why? Because of these people, some of them not having habit of taking a shower. So this is why we say, when you say, yuktara food, matching cleanliness in terms of the person, in terms of the ingredients, place, it's not easy. It has to be matched. And here yukta has moderation. One Mahatma was approached by a brahmachari. Brahmacharis generally they eat a lot. So he was approached by a brahmachari, and brahmachari said, Guruji, I'm just sick of this puri. I'm really feeling nauseating. I cannot eat this anymore. They're every day giving me puri. And this guru is asking this brahmachari, how many puris are you eating? He said, I'm eating between 6 and 8 puris. A guru is saying, make it 2 puri. All your nausea, sickness, everything will go. Just eat 2 puris. So what the point is here, yukta, moderation, can work magic, can create a magic. Karmasu yukta cheshtaha. Karmasu, even in action. So if I say you have to have moderation in action, you may not be able to appreciate. But if I say you have to have moderation in speech, which is also an activity, then you can appreciate what I mean by moderation in activity. So yukta, karmasu yukta cheshtaha. In all the cheshta, in all activities, yukta hai. All karma yukta hai. Then yukta swapnava bodhasya. In swapna, in sleep. Swapna, you would think it is dream, but here it is used in the sense of sleep. In sleeping also moderation. And avabodhasya, in jagrat avastha, in the waking condition also moderation. Be awake as much as it's required. When people take up to a serious meditation, 24 hours, what they do, even then what they do, 4 hours sleeping, 4 hours awake and meditating, then 4 hours sleeping. So what is that total? 12 hours is gone like this. So likewise they do. So sleeping, for a healthy body, it only needs some 5 to 6 hours of sleep in general. Puja Swamiji says, you all have your constitutional sleep. And the babies, children, small children, babies, they sleep for a longer time, 8 hours. I generally say 8 hours is not required for generally it is not required, because I'm saying this because I'm not sleeping 8 hours, and that has its own benefit. You get that extra hour, 2 hours, and you can accomplish so much in the morning when you're awake early. So this is all the advantage of being moderation. Just one word, yuktaha. Just remember the word yuktaha. Yuktaha means moderation. So for the one who is moderate in eating and other activities, who is mindful in all activities and to one's sleeping and waking hours, for such a person, meditation becomes the destroyer of sorrow. See, this moderation goes all the way to destroy the sorrow of the person. But moderation, food, sleep, and also all activities, right? Okay, with this, we'll conclude our session, and I'll see you, most of you, if not all of you, for the Bhagavatam session. Today, we have a very good session with several Bhagavan's Leela Avataras, all in one chapter. On the Zoom, we are going to have the Bhagavatam. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnad Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om.